Laker Nation, what's going on? Welcome into the Lakers Report brought to you by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther. I'm breaking down some Lakers news, a little bit of Lakers rumors as well. Let's start off today with the disabled player exception. Now, you all know as Laker fans, the Lakers did get granted this player exception due to the DeMarcus Cousins injury. Now, it's only for $1.75 million, and it will expire in March. So the team is going to have to use that. And basically what it means is, hey, the Lakers are obviously over the cap. They have all the players signed that they can to their roster, but because one of those players is likely to miss an entire season in DeMarcus Cousins, they get some money in a freed up roster space to use it on whoever they like. Now, of course, this all wouldn't be possible without the torn ACL of DeMarcus Cousins. Super unfortunate. I know as an NBA fan, I really wanted to see Boogie Cousins make a comeback this year with the Lakers, and it's just not going to happen. You know, that torn ACL, it's going to keep him out. Plus, he's just coming off a torn Achilles and a torn quad. I really think he would have been the starting center in Los Angeles if it weren't for that ACL tear. Super unfortunate, but they have an open roster spot now. So you got to start looking at some players, some guys the Lakers could potentially sign. So I've got 5 names, available free agents right now the Lakers could look at to use that disabled player exception on. Now, of course, I'd be amiss if I didn't talk about Carmelo Anthony. He really is just kind of stuck around. He's always going to be rumored when a team has an available roster spot. That is definitely a name to keep an eye on. Jamal Crawford is potentially there. He's a good veteran guard. I don't see them going that direction. J.R. Smith could make some sense if they don't really want to stick with guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Maybe they don't really trust Troy Daniels. And hey, maybe they're like, we still need a big. Let's go ahead and shore up that front court depth because they have Dwight Howard. They have JaVale McGee. They've got Anthony Davis and Kyle Kuzma, but maybe they want another one. Joakim Noah was a guy that almost made the roster over Dwight Howard anyway. You got to think he's at least an option there. And then Kenneth Faried, high energy, a lot of rebounds. He can get a lob. He can score inside. I like Faried. I don't really know if he's the route to go here or Noah. Maybe they wait. Maybe the Lakers are like, hey, let's just wait till someone gets bought out. Let's wait till one of these guys becomes available closer to that March deadline. One of those players is Andre Iguodala. Of course, he's with the Memphis Grizzlies right now, which is kind of just really weird to say because I don't think he'll even play a minute for the Memphis Grizzlies. Maybe he shows up to training camp and helps out the younger guys. I don't think he'll ever play a minute in a Memphis Grizzly jersey. But should he become available via buyout, the Lakers will be first in line to sign him. I almost expect them to end up with Andre Iguodala by the end of the 2019-2020 season. Now, last year with the Golden State Warriors, of course, they made another title run with Iggy in that 6-man role. 5.7 points per game, 3.7 boards, 3.2 assists, only 33% from 3. Look, he's not really going to put up the numbers. That's not what Iggy does at this point in his career. Iggy is going to go on the floor. He's going to guard the best player on the other team, and he's going to do a darn good job of it while leading as a veteran. I like Iguodala. I think any team would die to have him on their roster. So they have the open spot. They've got the disabled player exception. It's going to be really, really helpful, I think, at some point, whether it's via buyout, you wait for that buyout market, maybe you go sign one of those 5 guys that I mentioned, whoever it may be. I want to know from the Laker fans, from Laker Nation, who should they use that disabled player exception on? Let me know in the comment section below. Maybe it is one of those guys. Maybe you've got another name that could float around out there. One of the centers that I thought they should take a closer look at was Salah Mejri, of the Dallas Mavericks. He is not going to re-sign with Dallas. I think he can make some sense in LA, but now they got Dwight Howard. Hey, Lance Stevenson just won a championship over in some Chinese basketball league. Maybe they want to bring him back. Whoever you think it should be, let me know in the comment section below. And now, I want to tell you guys something very special. This is just for our Chat Sports watchers, just for you Laker fans right now. My TV choice. I've been watching college football, NFL football, all without any kind of commercials. And I do it with the My TV Choice app, and you can too. All you got to go download is that My TV Choice app, and we're going to hook you up. So instead of commercials, you're watching football. Once the Laker games come back on, you're watching Laker games. You're watching it, commercial break comes on. Instead of commercials, instead of the same old Geico and Allstate, State Farm ads that come on every single time, you get to watch great Chat Sports videos during those commercial breaks. And then we're going to get you right back to your live program, whatever game you're watching. So go download My TV Choice app today. Now let's get into Danny Green. Of course, Danny Green is arguably the biggest signing the Lakers had this offseason. $30 million for 2 years for this 32-year-old veteran. Came in the wake of all that Kawhi Leonard drama. Of course, we thought Kawhi could go to the Lakers, ended up going to the Clippers. Because he went to the Clippers, that opened up a spot for Danny Green to go to the Lakers. Now, what are we talking about? Look, apparently he could be playing 30-plus minutes per night. This is coming of Mike Trudell. He is a Lakers.com beat writer, and he made this prediction, so you got to think that means something. He's around the Lakers a lot. Danny Green's a big signing. Now, last year with the Raptors, of course, Danny Green was a huge part of that championship run for Toronto. 10.3 points per game, 4 boards, and 45.5% from beyond the three-point arc. Look, I think a lot of people think Danny Green was just kind of a throw-in in the Kawhi Leonard trade. He ended up being a vital part of that team in Toronto, and I think he'll be a vital part of this Laker team this year. Now, last season, the top 3 three-point shooters, Danny Green was number 2. Joe Harris of the Brooklyn Nets was just lights out. Danny Green came in at number 2, and then Seth Curry at 3. Now, the biggest difference between Danny Green and Joe Harris and Seth Curry is that Danny Green gets it done on the defensive side of the ball as well. Joe Harris, great player, spot-up shooter. That's what he is. Seth Curry, kind of a playmaker, but more of just a knockdown three-point shooter. Danny Green can go hit a 3-ball and play defense on the other side. Now, the reason I kind of agree with Trudell here about this prediction of Danny Green playing 30-plus minutes per night is because there's not a lot of other good three-point shooters on this team. You got Danny Green at 45.5%. He is going to be the best three-point shooter next season for the Lakers. Quinn Cook at 40.5%. Now, look, I love Quinn Cook. I'm a firm believer that he will be a vital role player for the Lakers this next season, but he can't play defense, and he's kind of a tweener between a point guard and a shooting guard, so you don't always know what you're going to get out of him. Troy Daniels, another great three-point shooter at 38%. But again, outside of three-point shooting, Troy Daniels doesn't do a lot. I mean, there's going to be nights Daniels doesn't play a minute. There's probably going to be nights Troy Daniels plays 20 to 25 minutes in a night, but you just don't know what you're going to get out of him. Rajon Rondo is your 4th best three-point shooter on this team at 35.9%. He has never, ever been known as a three-point shooter. And now all of a sudden you're going to ask him to come in and be the 4th best? I don't think so. And then Jared Dudley. And I don't have to say a lot about Jared Dudley. He's not going to get consistent minutes on this team. 35% three-point shooting isn't even that good. Now, I know there's one guy missing. The only guy missing from this is Alex Caruso, and I didn't put him on here because, yes, he is a 48% three-point shooter, but Alex Caruso only attempted 53s last year, so I don't really count him as one of the top 5 three-point shooters for the Lakers next season. I really do think Danny Green will get 30-plus minutes per night. I think that is very reasonable. With this roster that they have, with this starting 5 of Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard, we'll talk about that in a minute, so stay tuned, but Danny Green's really your only knockdown three-point shooter. Of course, I'm always going to trust LeBron James to shoot a 3. Anthony Davis is definitely working on that part of his game. Rondo apparently now can shoot the 3, but I still don't trust him to shoot it consistently. The only guy out there that's going to consistently make 3s is Danny Green. So you got to play him a lot. So I'm in the same boat as Mike here. I want to know from you guys, should Danny Green play 30-plus minutes per night? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'd be typing my Y for yes. I already kind of explained it to you guys. Pretty obvious. You got a good three-point shooter, you got to play him in this league. I mean, this league is all about the 3-ball. It's all about who can make the deepest 3s and who's going to make them consistently. Danny Green is going to do that for this Los Angeles Lakers team. So again, type Y if you think he should play 30-plus. Type N if you say, let's bring it back. Let's reel it back a little bit there. Danny Green, we don't need you playing 30-plus minutes per night. Now let's get into the classic JaVale McGee versus Dwight Howard argument right now. JaVale McGee said in an interview that he expects to start at center for the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, not making it any easier on Frank Vogel and Jason Kidd to decide who's going to start. JaVale wants to, and I think last year he kind of proved himself as the main starter in that Lakers rotation. Now, last year, almost basically a career year, outside of maybe a couple years in Denver. McGee put up great numbers, 12 points per game, 7.5 boards, assists. That's not what he does. He's a center, but he's a rim protector, 2 blocks per game. This also doesn't even mention the fact that he's a constant lob threat. He's long, he's lanky, he's going to catch lobs over defenders. I really do think JaVale has a legitimate argument as the starting center on this Lakers team, but we can't really say that without comparing him to Dwight Howard. Now, this is really comparing Dwight Howard's like 9 games that he played with the Wizards. So take it for what it's worth. 12.8 points per game, 9.2 boards, but he doesn't block shots anymore. And he obviously doesn't assist the ball very well, and he's not very efficient. The thing with Dwight Howard, yeah, maybe 2 years ago when he was with Charlotte, he was putting up big numbers. But here's the deal, guys. When Dwight Howard was in Charlotte putting up big numbers, their win percentage, their win total did not increase a single game. They won, I think it was 34 games before Dwight Howard got there. Then Dwight Howard got there, put up 17 and 12, and they still won 34 games. Dwight Howard doesn't really make much of a difference anymore. JaVale McGee, however, does. I think he has made a real argument as the starting center in Los Angeles. Now, Dwight Howard, of course, I mentioned it. He only played in 9 games for the Wizards. He had that weird buttocks injury that he had going on. And look, the Lakers are his 5th, or you could even say 6th, because of that stint he had in Brooklyn before getting bought out, team in just 5 years. You know, he's played for the Rockets, I think it was the Hawks, the Hornets, the Lakers. He was on the Nets for like 0.2 seconds. And then, of course, the Wizards. He's been everywhere now. No team has been able to keep him because of the locker room issues he brings. I think this is his last chance to make a true impact in the NBA. And if he's not starting, it could be a big question mark. So who should start at center for the Los Angeles Lakers on night 1? Now, I'm sure it'll change throughout the season. Maybe even Anthony Davis gets in the mix as a starting 5, even though he doesn't want to. Who should start at center? Type D for Dwight Howard. Type J for JaVale McGee. Now, I'd be typing J for JaVale McGee because I think he proved himself last year. I really do. You know, he's a good rim protector, good lob threat, great at, he's not a good rebounder. I'll say this. Compared to Dwight Howard, he's not as good of a rebounder. But when you got AD and LeBron James in there, you don't need that great of a rebounder at center, and plus it was still 7.5 boards. So I'd be typing my J for JaVale McGee, but Laker fans, let me know what you guys think.